Hey everyone, welcome back. Before anything else, yes, throughout this entire video I will be speaking in English. The reason is simple. Most of my audience is English speaking, and I wanted you all to clearly understand my honest opinion about the movie. My English isn't great, I know, but I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, this is just a small experiment, so please be nice to me. Also, this video will probably be uploaded after Christmas and New Year's, so I hope all of you had an amazing time during holidays. With that said, after this brief introduction, I will talk about the experience overall. First, it will be a spoiler-free, and then I will clearly let you know when the spoiler section starts, okay? Okay, so I watched the movie on Friday, December 5th with some friends. They went in cosplay as Chica, Freddy, and the neighbor, and I went as Bunny. And when I say cosplay, I don't mean literal animatronic suits. I mean a humanistic version. Formal outfits, representative colors, and accessories like bunny hairs, Chica bib, the security badge, or the electric guitar. I had an amazing time. I hadn't felt that good going out in a group in a long while. And after the movie, we went to eat absurd amounts of pizza. Staying true to the canon. Some people even came up to ask us for photos, including parents with their kids. And we also meet other cosplayers. Overall, it was a really great experience. Now, talking about the movie itself, if the first movie was clearly made for the fans, this one takes the idea to another level. Throughout the entire film, there are jokes, references, dialogues, surprise that literally made us react like we're watching a football match. I think they did a really good job with the two animatronics and how they represent as antagonists. And since I'm already talking about animatronics, I especially want to highlight Puppet's roles in the story, because it's basic to one of the pulling the tricks behind everything that happens. The special effects, sound design, and atmosphere were solid 10 out of 10. And the performance were great as well. And this is important. Even if you know nothing about the video game saga, I think you can still enjoy the movie because things are explained in a pretty clear and simple way. Now, one thing that can work a bit against the movie is FNAF 1 lore, because it's huge. Honestly, I don't even think Scott himself knows the full story 100% at this point. Because of that, the movie has to explain a lot of things at the same time, while also trying to tell a linear story and making moments that feel painful to the games. As shown in the trailers, the main characters from the first movie return, but they also introduce new characters who will clearly be important for the future of the cinematic saga. And yes, just in case some people didn't know, even though the movie are based off the games, they tell a different story. This is a movie you really shouldn't miss if you are a fan, but don't expect a Steven Spielberg level masterpiece. It's fun, it's very enjoyable. ¿Cómo se dice eso? Enjoyable, ¿no? Sí, creo que sí. But it still has some issues similar to the first movie, especially when it comes to the script and a few loose ends. To close this spoiler-free section, the horror level does increase a bit. It's done extreme, but it definitely feels darker than the first movie. Okay, from this point on, spoiler ahead. If you haven't seen the movie, you can stop the video here. Alright, the opening scene is insane. The way to introduce the main antagonist is just pure cinema. That said, I wish Charlie had looked a bit more damaged from the Stan's words. Maybe something more visual explicit. I'm not sure if it was there and I just missed it, so I would have to check again once it's available in HD. Even though the opening scene is amazing, I did find the parents' reaction a bit too careless. I think it takes away some reliefs, even if it works as the justification for why Charlie ends up too resentful once she becomes marionette. Moving on the other scenes, I love the titles like the Freddy plush reference and the iconic Those are the kind of small, unexpected treats. We also got moments like the appearance of Shadow Bunny, the introduction of Circus Baby, and more subtle reference like the mention of candy in the arcade machine. It was also great to see more development between Mike and Vanessa. Even though their relationships feels tense throughout the movie because Vanessa keeps hiding important information, like the original location, Charlie's story, and her brother. And speaking of that brother, while watching the actor who plays Michael Afton, a friend next to me kept pointing out how unsettling and disturbing his stare was, and honestly, I agree. The casting was excellent. He really gives off that engaged and almost psychopathic vibes, which fits perfectly with the direction this saga seems to be taking. One of the scenes that got us the most excited was when Mike and Vanessa comes up with a plan to stop the animatronics and rescue Abby, and Mike stands behind in the office monitoring the cameras. Basically, he about to play FNAF 2. That's also when we see the weird animatronics in action. Later on, they clarify that these are prototypes and not the ones from the first movie, which cleared up questions many of us had and also stayed true to the canon. Unfortunately, their screen time was pretty short, and that's hard because their designs were incredible. I wasn't a big fan of Wither's Bunny age color, and of course he was the one with the least screen time. The one I was most excited to see. Still, I was really hyped. Thanks for the marionette factor. I feel like the movie generally becomes scarier. The way puppet possess people, how their bodies start adopting animatronic traits, the unnatural movements, and those intense piercing stares. Yeah, that's a huge improvement. And now let's talk about the toys, because there's a lot to say. Starting with Toy Chica, who had a ton of screen time. I wasn't expecting that, but it makes sense. She was heavy for its animatronic and the best choice to manipulate her. I don't mind it, but I do think the others deserve a bit more focus. I was also hoping to see more of her Beakless version, even if it was just to take out that annoying German teacher. Not gonna lie, I really wish they had shown his head getting crushed. A funny detail. In my theater, there were some kids sitting in front of us who wouldn't stop talking. Every time Toy Chica appeared, they shout things like, "Sit on my face! Oh my god, Toy Chica!" Damn, baby! At first, it can be funny, but repeating the same joke over and over just ruined the experience. I saw some of my friends getting uncomfortable, and I got a bit enjoyed too. But hey, were pretty young kids, so I guess it makes sense. One thing that I really surprised me was that I watched the movie and dubbed it in Spanish, and Toy Bonnie was giving a feminine voice and referring to as she. I know that in English the voice was done by Matat, but in the movie it sounds quite high-pitched. So I understand why the Latin American dub interprets the characters as female. Canonically, El Triboni is male, but if you follow my art, you know I often draw Triboni as a woman in my own Nosy for War universe, and I call her Bom Bom. Fun enough, I later found out many artists did the same in the past. So for me, it felt like a very indirect canonization of something personal tied to my work, and that honestly made me really happy. Toy Freddy had a very imposing voice, maybe even more than I expected. And Mangle, well, I don't think they even spoke thorough on the entire movie. To start wrapping things up, we have to talk about the final sense. A Springtrap appearance is a very clear statement of the intent of the first movie. Marionette versus Springtrap. We'll finally get more about the founder's history and maybe even see how Williams' madness began. And that glowing edge at the end, I won't lie. For a second, I thought it was Sans. In conclusion, this was a great movie for fans and an experience I will definitely remember, especially because of the amazing company I had. When we left the theater, we immediately start theorizing, comparing it to the first movie, and joking about pulling an afton on the kids who wouldn't stop talking behind us. Seriously, we had to ask them to be quiet like 6 times. If you're a fan of the franchise, you really shouldn't miss it. I know people who absolutely love it and others who didn't like it at all. And interestingly, and those are usually the ones who aren't very into the games. So keep in mind that you are your own best critic when it comes to enjoyment. A movie doesn't need to be incredibly complex or narrative perfect for you to enjoy it. For me, cinema is mainly entertainment, and it's also entertainment valid if you take movies more seriously. But that doesn't mean you need to talk down on fans who are just having a good time. If you're looking for a movie full of reference, entertainment, laughs, and simple but interesting story, this movie is for you. But if you want something deeper, more analytical, and perfectly structured, it might not be what you are expecting. And by the way, I have a Discord server where I usually post the previews of my drawings. Besides posting our art in general, we talk about various topics and pass the occasionally nothing things. If you're interested, I invite you to join to the part of this horny community. Thanks for watching and thanks for putting up my terrible English. And I will see you next time. Has 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 shown in the trailers the main character puta madre